Hello, I'm Jeremy, the Internet Scrum Master. I have over 20 years experience in tech and finance. I've worked across service desk, QA, server and application administration, release management, and for the past decade, I've been a full-time Scrum Master. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're talking Sprint Retrospectives. There are many activities you can employ to facilitate a retrospective. Most of them require to be in person with sticky notes and a whiteboard. When working with a fully remote team or a hybrid team, options for retros become limited. I'm going to walk through a process to accomplish the goal of a retrospective in a remote environment that optimizes time, focusing on the most important topics. The goal of a retrospective is to increase quality and effectiveness of the team. Retrospectives address 3 buckets of topics: things that we are doing that we should keep doing, things that we are doing that we should stop doing, and things that we aren't doing that we should start doing. So you might see these expressed as start, stop, continue on a retro board. According to the Scrum Guide, a retro is time boxed to 3 hours for a 1-month sprint. Most teams run 2-week sprints, and depending on your team, a 1-hour meeting can be challenging to book. So a lot of times you are limited to 30 minutes, and that's just a fact of life in some organizations. So we want to ensure that we discuss the most important items with the time that we have. As a facilitator, it's important to keep the team focused on improving and improvement items and avoid going down rabbit holes while still allowing enough conversation to get some value. So it's a good balancing act there. So here are the high-level steps that I follow when facilitating a retrospective. First, create the retro board in whatever tool you're using the day before the retro. Okay, let the team know that the board is available. I usually do that in the stand-up the day before the last day of the sprint, and encourage them to put their thoughts down before the meeting. That gives them time to reflect on the sprint. So even if they're not actually putting anything on the board, just putting that in their mind, it gets them thinking about what happened in the last couple of weeks. Going into the retro, hopefully a few items have already been created, but I give the team 5 to 7 minutes at the start of the meeting to add any additional items. If they finish prior to the time box ending, I ask that they raise their hands in Teams or whatever tool. And if everybody has their hands up before the time box ends, we end that phase early and we move on to the next step. So I follow that hand raising technique for each step throughout the retro. So the next step is grouping similar items. Most tools offer a way to stack the cards on a retro board. It should take a couple of minutes. The Scrum Master should monitor the items as they're created by the team. And then during that grouping phase, should already have a good idea of what items are similar. So the Scrum Master will walk the team through that grouping and offering the team the opportunity to disagree with that grouping and keep the item separate. This is just a conversation driven by the Scrum Master. After grouping the items, the team votes on which items they want to talk about most. Again, this gets a time box, and depending on the tool, each person will get 5 votes, and they can vote on the same item more than once if they want. When all votes are cast or the time box ends, the Scrum Master walks the team through each item, ordered by the number of votes, with the most votes going first. I recommend handling this one of 2 ways to handle the time box. I think the first and the best way is to set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes for each topic. And then at the end of that timer, do a quick poll of the team, again, raising their hands in the tool to see how many people want to keep on that topic versus how many people want to move on to the next topic. If the majority of people are voting to keep talking, I'll add another 2 minutes to the timer. and then they can finish up that conversation. And if after 2 minutes, the additional 2 minutes, if the topic needs further discussion, I will take an action item to schedule a separate call to dig a little bit deeper, only with the folks who are interested in that topic. If everyone wants to continue talking on that topic for the entire meeting, of course I allow that. It's only when some people don't want to talk about a particular topic that I spin it into another meeting. The second way is to do a hard stop after the first timer runs out and move on to the next card. I don't like this because we already determined the highest priority topic, and cutting the team off before they come to a solution they want to try to, I think is a disservice to them, and it misses the point of the retro. Again, the point is to increase the quality and effectiveness of the team. So there also might be items that call out a team member for doing something really great or helping another team member, whatever it might be. It's a good thing. And those are thankfully the things that usually get the most votes. People like to talk about the wins. In these cases, I keep the conversation brief. I allow for the team to expand on that good thing that happened. It's important to celebrate the wins. But we shouldn't rest on our laurels, and it's equally important to find improvement areas, and that usually takes more time. The retrospective is a safe space where people should be allowed to voice frustrations without the fear of, retaliation. There are limits, of course. Any form of verbal abuse should be reported to their manager in HR. Aside from that edge case, the Scrum Master should take the feedback and keep it private. They can anonymize the feedback when it needs to be communicated to management. The problem with identifying a person when communicating to management is that moving forward, that person might not be as open, and we're not getting the feedback that we really want in the retro. So having that safe space is an important thing. Improvement items can take the form of an offline action handled by the Scrum Master. It can be added to the product backlog or a separate improvement backlog. Some teams add the improvement items to the product backlog, and it's fine if that's what they want to do. I prefer to keep the product backlog focused only on the product and keep the process improvement items separate, but do whatever works for your team. Managers might ask for a report from the retrospective, and that's where the Scrum Master needs to take that raw feedback and filter it, structure the improvement items in a way that doesn't call out any particular person or team member, and frame the items as like team decisions. This is something that the team has decided as a group they want to do, and do everything you can to avoid calling out a particular person. Given the option, I would prefer not to provide management reports from the retro. I feel that those are team improvement items, created by the team for the team. Management should, in my opinion, be focused on the product delivery. And if they're, if the manager wants to know the individuals, providing that type of feedback, I think they should schedule one-on-ones with their team members to get that sort of feedback. And if folks aren't comfortable telling their managers how they feel directly, then that's a much deeper problem, way outside the scope of Scrum. But I really think that the point is the retro is really by the team for the team. We have the sprint review that is focused on product delivery. And if we're delivering our products and completing the work items and features are not, coming back with defects, management should be fine not knowing what's coming out of the retro and what our improvement items are. It gets a little political, but that's how I feel on it. That's pretty much it. Following this process for a retrospective ensures the priority items get discussed and the team feels both heard and that they have a say in the direction of the team. Okay. I'm a firm believer that when teams feel that they have agency They proactively seek to improve the product, the team, and themselves as part of the team. Thanks for sticking with me. I'd love to know how you run retros and the practices you found most valuable, particularly in a distributed and virtual environment. Let me know in the comments. Until next time, take care.